Okay.
Be unlock on those.
Just losing my job here by the day.
Your A-game.
You've had a lot to
Allie,
do,
let us know whenever it's
Pretty
ready.
soon, I'm just going to be
What?
useless on this
God.
show.
Oh, God. Here we are. So unprepared. What's up, everybody, and welcome into the DNVR Nuggets podcast.
Let's go.
Man,
Let's go.
Some Tuesday energy right there. Silent guns over there. The old gunslinger.
Yeah, I mean, every now and again, you just let it play out. Man.
I've never seen you in sweatpants.
I know it's a snow day today, so I wore outside.
Snow day?
Outside grade.
It snowed
sweatpants.
like less than an inch.
Those are outside grade?
Yep.
Wow, those look really comfy. We're presented as always by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Use promo code DNVR whenever you sign up. Bet along with us in the pregame shows. Bet along with us in the watch-alongs. Those are always fun. In fact, our next watch-along, Friday.
Ayo.
Nuggets
playing?
on the road at Lakers. At the Lakers.
Perfect.
A little Friday game at the Lakers. We're going to be betting along, having a good time.
Can it outperform the last watch along? That's the real question.
Not in the way that it ended, but the amount of Lakers slander that will be spewing the entire time.
Such a slanderous watch along that will be.
Can't
Those
wait.
are honestly are a lot of fun. I think we're going to start making them more and more permanent. We'll have one. I think we have two more before the end of the year, but who knows? 2023 maybe brings a permanent watch along to us, which should be.
I hope so.
Which should be a lot of fun, guys. I got the fellas with me. I got Brendan Vogt over here.
New DNVR flag sweater. Just got this one, fresh in stock. One of the comfiest things I've ever worn. So I might check that out in the merch locker if I were you.
Go over here. I
Nice.
got Harrison Wynn hiding behind a hat. Am I the only hatless one? Only
You
one
are,
proud
man.
of my beautiful hair.
Me and Vogt rocking the Breck Brew hats. Eric rocking a
Saltfish, right?
No, it's San Francisco Seals.
San Francisco Seals
I
hat.
don't know why I thought it was Saltfish.
Naturally.
You got to get on our level.
Yeah, you got to get on the level.
You never wear a hat, though. You do look...
When you have hair like this, you guys see this hair? This
Did you get a
you see this
haircut?
line? No.
All right. I'm just guessing.
Salt and pepper, though, you got that going? Over here, we already introduced
do
him,
have that.
D-line.
Yep.
Pushing the buttons behind the computer screen tonight is super producer Ali Monroy. Guys, we have a great show for you today. We have notes from Nuggets practice, a second practice in a row. Some good notes today. I actually asked Jokic about Slava. Are those videos up on the YouTube page
They
already?
are up on YouTube.
Don't
They
go
should
look-
be processing. At
Don't
least.
go look at them right now, though. Look at them later after the
right?
show, guys.
Those things are on demand, goddammit.
Yeah. Later in the show, Jokic won an MVP award, guys.
Let's go.
Isn't that crazy?
This is news to me.
Apparently, he hadn't received it yet. Why? Well, it turns out they're making a brand new MVP award that he will be the first recipient of. We're going to talk about that, plus other awards that are coming, and maybe even a little bit of Mr. Nugget talk. Maybe a little bit. It's been topical
Once
lately.
per show.
Once per show, we'll bring it up. And then at the end, we'll have a little bit of fun and talk
Is
about...
Jamal Murray back?
No, at the end, we're going to
Has
talk
the
about...
bench unit been solved?
You know what? We'll get to the end when we get to the end. First, we had Nuggets practice today, Harrison. What happened at practice?
Well, we spoke to Michael Malone and Nikola Jokic. Who do you want me to start with?
Usually we'd start with Malone.
Okay. Michael Malone today, talking about what the Nuggets worked on at practice. They worked on transition defense. They went through the Washington Wizards plays, who they play on Wednesday, tomorrow. He said it was their first complete practice that they've had in a while. So yesterday, just some shooting, some light stuff, some film work. Today, more regular practice.
Yeah.
Ahead of tomorrow's game against Washington.
I want to stop on transition defense, though, because the Nuggets, as we were talking to Ryan Blackburn, the homie Ryan Blackburn, today as we were waiting for practice to end. And one of the things we were talking about was Michael Malone famously brought up the Hubies in training camp, right? Got to get back in transition or you're going to crash the glass. You're going to do something. And there's been a 2-year now emphasis on getting back in transition at the expense of crashing the glass. Turns out Denver, horrible at transition defense. Actually, worse somehow than ever before. So usually, and it's not a 1-to-1 ratio, but usually the more aggressive you are going for offensive rebounds, the less safe you are in transition defense. The Nuggets have somehow scaled back their offensive rebounding. They're 18th in the NBA, while also scaling back their transition defense.
It's hard to do.
And it makes me wonder, Eric, without knowing any other context, of course there's a bunch of other context there, but does it feel like maybe the Nuggets should just do what they're good at, which is offensive rebounding?
I mean, of course, right? Like, if you're getting no other benefit, like, yeah, you should at least lean into one direction instead of or the other. Like, man, weird.
It is weird.
I wonder what the explanation for that is. Like, just I feel like there's when I notice like really, really bad transition defense, it always comes off of like a foolish three that's been taken and missed.
I like that. That's a really good note.
I don't know. I don't really know why. It's funny, like the NBA didn't have to do much transition defense the last several years because it would just be a take foul every time. Like now those are gone, and like people have to like actually.
Well, it's interesting. We were talking about that today. If the Nuggets' transition defense is bad solely because Nikola Jokic can't
do a
commit the take
play.
foul anymore,
Wouldn't it be ironic if we get mad at him all this time
Right.
for take fouling? Wouldn't it be ironic if
it just,
actually
like, pumped? It was a great defense.
it was the only
massive.
thing holding the Nuggets' transition defense
Dude,
together?
I think
The
that
take
that's
foul.
right. I think that's true.
I'm not dismissing it entirely. I think it could be it.
I mean, I'm dismissing it. There was like one take foul a game, which didn't. So he couldn't have saved that many
But it wasn't
points.
only Jokic. I mean, it's just like
No, I'm saying there was usually one take foul a
you
game.
really only one.
I mean, they threw out the statistics of how many there were. And it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't. It was less than you would have think. I think it was less than one a game. It was like 0.7 per game or something.
But yeah, they should crash the offensive glass, man. Like, go for it.
Sometimes I think there's a huge value to being great at the things you're great at. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And rather than trying to like just be flat at everything. And I'm looking at this defense. Now I will say this. I want to see the Nuggets during this homestand because, as I mentioned, I do think this is where we're really going to figure out who they are. But if the numbers aren't improving, I say go for the offensive glass, man. Crush it. Aaron Gordon's great offensive rebounder. Michael Porter Jr. great offensive rebounder. Dominate in that zone. You might actually find out that in some weird knee bone is connected to the hip bone thing. It might actually be a thing that makes your transition defense better.
Possible. I mean, I think Eric really framed it quite nicely. You don't have much to lose by looking into that route. It is just concerning that there's 2 to 3 things that seem to be the very obvious point of emphasis this season, and they've gone backwards. It's crazy. I mean, I don't that
And yet the Nuggets are still good.
and yet the Nuggets are still good. So it does. There's like a focus is a word that's come up a couple times. AG mentioned it. Jokic mentioned it today with regards to defense. It just seems like the transition thing. They're just so disjointed. They just. It's not until the fourth where you really see guys just looking sharp on that end, communicating on that end, and a part of me just thinks, it's just on these guys to just care more in quarters 1 through 3.
I went back. I did an episode of The List late last night, published it, so it's up there for diehards. You can get one video. Everybody can get access to the first 2 things on there, but
Get a taste.
a little appetizer. And honestly, the first one is my favorite one, not because it's the most important, but just because
downhill.
when you watch the Jokic Murray 2-man game on a highlight reel, you realize just how freaking dominant it is.
It's so good.
It's like
This is why I can't get too down about whether or not, Vlatko Cancar is getting the minutes he deserves. Like, at a certain point, it's just, we got Jokic and Murray, man. Like, can we just get to the playoffs? Can we just, get to the playoffs?
But that's the thing. So you started off, I think, 100% correct. It's just this, Murray Jokic thing. I'm telling you, we always talk about the passenger versus the driver. The passenger seat, you feel like you're less in control.
Yeah.
I think Jokic plays like, guys, do you watch me and Murray? We score every time.
Yeah. And then Michael Porter Jr.'s like, hey, man, we gotta mix things up.
And they're like,
Get
dude,
me into the mix.
we score every time, literally every time in the fourth quarter when we need it. I mean, you had the start of this game, Jokic Murray 2-man game, just unbelievable, clowning the Jazz.
Right.
Then you had it to end the first half, if you remember. The Nuggets actually closed the half elite. Why? Jokic Murray 2-man game getting whatever one. And then down the stretch, they actually missed some shots and stuff that they usually make, but still did it enough to win. So
Yeah.
the Nuggets' most important thing is, to me, almost in playoff form.
Yeah, for sure. I just need to see something with the defense because no team has ever been this bad defensively and then gone on to win an NBA championship.
Until now.
It just hasn't happened. No, it's not going to happen. The Nuggets aren't going to win a championship this season if they're this bad defensively in the playoffs.
I heard an if.
They don't have a chance. They're going to get rocked in the first round if they're this bad defensively.
The thing is are they this bad defensively?
They're not.
And the one exception to the rule over the last 30 years was the 2001 or 2002 Lakers. I don't remember which one it was.
That was 100 years ago in basketball terms.
It was, but it was also a team that was coming off a championship that knew they had championship caliber defense. They just didn't need to show it.
Right.
Denver has never shown
Denver
it.
is not either of those two things.
But I'm just saying, they play like a team. They're skipping all of this process to be like, we know we can.
I know, man.
It just, to
I
me,
know.
you look at teams, right, Boston and Milwaukee, And it's about showing it to themselves and each other and ironing out the kinks, right?
Yeah.
They've already started that process of we want to make sure we're humming by the end of the season on both ends. And I actually do buy into this. Okay, we've got Murray, we've got Yoke. The close time defense is good enough. If this thing is close in the fourth, we're winning.
Yeah.
I think that actually is in the back of their minds. But
I think it might be.
It's got to be at this point.
but that's
you
not.
would have to think.
But then that's not good enough. That's not.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's
You're
not
right, you're
championship or bust approach to a season. And
Yeah.
whether that is an apt label or not, it's been described that way internally. And so you really do want to see them start to, let's build those habits. Let's iron out the kinks. Let's not wait. Because I think they can be better than this, but they have to be. Or else, like Wynn said, it's erroneous label to call them contenders.
You mentioned that nobody had been this bad defensively in one. You know what else nobody's ever been? This good offensively. I mean, Denver right now is at a 116 offensive rating on the year, 116.4. They're catching the Celtics. Remember when the Celtics were like, oh my God, we've never seen anything like this. The Nuggets have 6 straight weeks at home. I actually think by the end of the stretch, they are a very, very, very good chance of being the number 1 offense in the NBA. And maybe the number 1 offense of all time.
They got a great chance. I mean,
I'm serious. That would be
we were sitting here in the preseason saying, like, why shouldn't they be the
Right.
number 1 offense? They should be.
Well, the Celtics
they should
didn't
be the
miss
number 1 offense.
any 3-pointers for the first 2 months of the season. That's why they
But
were.
that's a different.
Yeah.
I honestly believe, and Denver's shooting the
Yeah.
leather off the ball as well. But to me, there is something with the Boston approach where versus Denver, when it comes down to it, it's the 2-man game. Versus when it comes down to it, it's the 2 J's making really tough shots.
Right.
And I actually do find the former to be considerably
What's
more
wild
reliable.
about the Nuggets offense, I honestly feel like they've been good on offense, but they haven't even been close to as good as they could be.
It
Like
does feel
Michael
that way.
Porter
So true.
has missed the last 9 games
Jamal
after
Murray
he
just now
doesn't
being
play
back.
tomorrow.
Yeah, Jamal
Murray got COVID.
Yeah, Nuggets all good. Yeah,
The bench still sucks. Like the bench, the Nuggets still can't even score when Nikola Jokic is off the floor.
The Nuggets have
they
had
had like 3
several-
baskets the
Yeah.
whole first half the other
It's a
night when he
great
was
take.
off the floor. They're leaving so much on the table still offensively. They still don't barely take any threes, the Nuggets.
I know.
Yeah.
Like they don't shoot threes.
Even though they're leading.
Even
the
though
league.
they're the best 3-point shooting team in the league. They can still be so much better, which is the wild part.
Do we have? I can't believe how miserable we are listing off all this this season, like leading up to this. For like, they're so good in so many ways. It's just, man, it's been like such a grind and such a like.
I'll tell you what, though, if you actually think about the year, it hasn't been that miserable other than that middle stretch where everyone got sick.
Everyone got
and then-
COVID.
yeah,
And we were like, oh.
And then that 3-game losing streak.
when they got back, then they were a little. They
And
just
then
took
they
a
were on
little
the
while to get
road,
the engine
like-
started, but they're started. I'm telling you, I'm predicting. I'm going to go out on a limb here. Bold prediction.
Oh.
Super bold one. Get the peppers ready on this one, Allie. I think that the Nuggets are going to win tomorrow night by like 15, 20 points.
50 against who's the
Washington's
Wizards.
reeling. Washington's reeling.
Washington's reeling, but I also just think Denver's going to come out and smack them. Like you, I just think in the NBA it's so underrated what it means to be at home for days in a row. And the
for
Nuggets
sure.
just got 4 days off. Like they might be a little rust. Maybe a guy misses a couple open shots, but I just think they're going to. Aaron Gordon's 6 dunks.
Wizards have lost 7 in a row.
I really think there's going to be something to. We can overstate this, but I think it's much easier to understate it. These guys have been home with their families the last 3 days. I mean, I really think like the mood and stuff, and just I'm ready to come to work tonight. I honestly think that stuff matters. So I do expect a good first quarter coming up.
Get back to some of these notes though. We'll get you back. That was a good little tangent.
It was good.
Yeah.
Good job, guys.
That was called a conversation.
Hey, that was great. I really
Podcast.
enjoyed.
That's what we do on a
the things you
podcast. We
said
converse.
We
We take a point and
Okay.
then build off of it.
this is the first time hearing of this. I love it.
On the topic of being at home, Michael Malone was talking about how good a shape his team is in,
Hey.
how good a shape Jamal Murray is in,
Hey.
and he said that Jamal, he's heading in the right direction. He thought,
He's back.
no,
Oh, okay.
not yet. What if Michael Malone said he's back?
He's going to. At some point, he's got to say
That
that.
would be hilarious.
Or
Just
Jamal
looks
Murray.
me in the
Jamal
eyes.
Murray back.
Somebody's going to declare it. I'm back. He's back.
Yeah, he's gonna have an I'm back game for sure.
I will say, real quick note on Jamal. He always, before leaving the practice court, shoots from behind the backboard, like from the 3-point line.
Portland
In the
shot.
shot he hit against
the Portland shot,
Portland
but he
shot,
does
yeah.
it from actual out of bounds, from like way out of bounds. tonight, and usually he's like really good. He's the best I've ever seen at that shot. That's actually his shot, which is funny.
Do you think Jokic is better at that shot?
No
though?
way. No way. Honest to God.
I'm not. I don't know. I'm not ruling it out.
But anyway, today he made it very first try. Sometimes it's like Rocky's half court shot. He's really good at it in that he'll hit 1 out of 3. This time he just goes over there, shoots it.
He's feeling it right now.
It's from like 7 feet out of bounds. It's crazy how hard of a shot that is.
He's feeling it. I mean, that last game,
Swish.
man, that last game, by the end of it, there was a lot of
He is
great
feeling it.
navigating the pick and roll. But by the end of it, it was just like, I'm going here.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all I need's an inch.
I'm getting
All
to
I
my
need's an
spot,
inch.
and I'm just hitting it,
Yeah.
and I'm scooting back before the ball even hits the net. I'm just
Yeah.
already like doing the walk back.
But Malone said that, conditioning-wise, Jamal was heading in the right direction, but then he got COVID, which put him back a little, and he's getting back to that point where he was at pre-COVID. But Malone also said the hardest thing is that the first 20 games, we were out of altitude so much. They're also out of altitude for training camp. But it's just hard to keep that conditioning when you're in and out of altitude so much. But being back at home, practicing, that can help.
I love how everyone has a different theory on this kind of stuff. Me, it's they've been on traveling, they haven't been like rested and everything else. For him, and he's right. His is actually like scientifically correct. When you're not at altitude, you're not getting the white blood cells, red blood cells. Who's to say? Whatever
to say?
it is.
Science knows.
Science knows,
Who
but
cares,
I don't.
dude? Who wants to watch an NBA game through a microscope?
Nice.
Thanks, guys.
Malone was also talking about who he's playing at backup center. DeAndre Jordan or Zeke Naji, how he decides on that. What?
He's like, it's never Zeke Naji. So
Well, he did get to that by the end of his answer.
Almost forgot that. No, I'm just kidding.
Who? Oh, Zeke.
Zeke, right.
Yes.
Yes, defensive
Piano Man.
versatility.
Piano Man.
The guy who plays the piano? Oh, yeah. But, I mean, Malone started out by saying that, it's kind of game to game. If we're playing a traditional backup center or if the team we're playing is playing small ball off the bench. But then he pretty much got down to the point of why DeAndre Jordan is playing so much. Malone complimented his rebounding. He said, per 36, his rebounding is off the charts, and also that he's a dynamic roller. And I think that we need that on the second unit. It opens up shots at the rim and from 3. He did say Zeke Naji is obviously more defensively versatile. But then Malone also said that he's trying to kind of find some consistency, some rhythm with that second unit. And by that, I feel like he's just trying to play DeAndre Jordan, play like the same or as close as the same second unit night to night that he can.
Oh, I see.
There's definitely a preference. I think it's a bit more than just I like the matchup. I think the matchup has to be particularly skewed.
There's been very few
But he's
matchups
saying,
for
he's
Zeke
saying
Naji.
Malone would like to find more consistency.
Yeah, he wants to find the same group that he can go to every
Gotcha.
game.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, I don't know if it's a great way to find consistency for Zeke Naji by never playing him. I don't know. I don't know if he's gonna get rhythm that way.
Last guy on the practice court today was Zeke Naji. It's probably been a common occurrence.
No, he's practicing that extra 4-inch vertical. So much
Just
about.
jumping.
Just jumping in the middle of
Hey guys, look at me.
He's working on free throws.
Yeah. And then obviously Will Barton and Monte Morris coming back here to Denver.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah. Michael Malone said both those guys deserve a lot of credit and gratitude for what they brought to this team. Big part of the success and culture. And also Wes Unseld Jr., the defensive coordinator of years past, coming back to Denver.
I feel like I have to go to this game to make sure that I personally cheer Will Barton as loud as possible.
Thanks.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm a little nervous, like, what his reception will
Oh man, I didn't even think about that.
I think it'll be good. I think Will's.
I hope so. It
Will's
goddamn better be good. I mean, Will was
right.
great, dude. Like,
Monte's will be good.
Will was. I just can't. We've said this before. I just can't overstate how important Will Barton was at the lowest nadir of the Nuggets.
Ding 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 ding.
Of the Nuggets' life over the past decade. Like, when times were darkest, we got the people's champ, Will Barton, and he came and he made things exciting. He was like such a breath of fresh air when we had really nothing going during that like dark Brian Shaw era. And like, I just really hope that Nuggets fans remember that and appreciate that and don't get mired down. Like, I mean, obviously we saw there was a bit of a messy divorce. Maybe Will Barton was sort of asked to do things that were not maybe using his skill set the best, and he also maybe took a little too many liberties at big moments in games. But man, Thrill was the goddamn best, and I really miss him. So I hope he gets cheers when he comes
Yoke
back.
said it today, man. I know Wendell's going to get to it, but like he played as much with Will Barton as anyone.
Will Barton, yeah, that was the first
7 years.
That was the first Jokic guy, really.
The first Jokic guy player, really.
Maybe Gary, I don't know, but like those two like had something special.
Yeah,
and
they
Will-
both played with him for those first 6 years until Gary was traded.
And Will Barton's still atop a Nuggets leaderboard. So within the realm of, the fan favorite context, the way we use this word, kind of tongue in cheek, I fully like Will Barton's a Nuggets legend, man.
Yeah,
he's
number
one
one
of the
three-point
guys.
shooter in Nuggets history.
Yeah, for a couple more months probably.
Also, Wes Unseld Jr. nearing the top of my list of faces from the past that I miss the most right now. Feel free to come back and lead the defense.
Oh man, tough.
I don't even know if he'd sign up for that.
I don't think he would.
We also talked to Nikola Jokic today. He said, conditioning-wise, I think we're pretty good. He had some interesting comments on Aaron Gordon, I thought. He was talking about AG. He said, you can see how he's developed since he's been in Denver. He can play screen and roll. He can play one-on-one facing the basket. He can rim run. He's a complete player, Jokic said. He doesn't have a weak spot. Jokic also said Aaron Gordon is a top 5 two-way player in the league right now. That's a juicy quote.
That was a huge quote, man. That was
that
a
on a
huge
graph.
quote.
I mean, he's not, but I respect the.
I
respect him
respect that.
pumping Aaron
You know what?
Gordon up.
Top
Hey,
five on
man.
the team at least.
you know what?
I'm on the team.
You know what? If Yoke says it, it carries a little bit more weight. I will say this.
Sure.
I honestly think Yoke's appreciation, respect, trust, all of those things for Aaron Gordon is at an all-time high.
Oh, yeah.
In a meaningful way. Meaning, like, I think he liked him right out of the package, but I do think that has grown and grown
Yeah.
and grown
I
in
mean,
a way that we've only seen from very few specific players.
Yeah,
Not every player
I
has
just gotta
had this
think
strap.
Jokic really appreciates how willingly Aaron Gordon has fit into his role here, and just how cleanly he's played within this offense. Like, I've just got to think something like that means a lot to Nikola
It's
Jokic.
like another reason why Nikola Jokic is the top human being. Like all he
Yeah.
does is pump up his teammates. He's not like Kobe Bryant who will be like, "Smush Parker is ruining my life," or Michael Jordan who would like trash his teammates. Like Jokic said that he wanted to play with JaMychal Green his entire career. Like he wanted to.
Not always the best GM in that regard,
I just,
but
all, I
loyal.
mean, all I mean is that like he uses his pulpit to pump other players up and like really give them shine, like other teammates don't do. I mean, everybody talks about Jokic in this way, but like,
Is he Mr. Nugget? Is what you're coming back to.
dude, no, he's not Mr. Nugget. He's King Nugget. He's Emperor Nugget.
He
He's
is King Nugget.
Lord Nugget.
You know what someone put on the timeline today, though? Forgive me, I can't remember your app, but someone tweeted the AG video from the exit interview talking about wanting to up his IQ.
You know, we all clowned him.
Wanting
for
to
it.
work smarter, not harder, and saying how well it's aged. And it's a hard thing in terms of you point to something and say, look, this is how it manifested.
Yeah.
But I think his efficiency and his shot profile do that as well as anything. This is a guy who did, in fact, go get smarter, and he's playing smarter. And I think Yoke has to appreciate it.
Yeah.
I feel like those mind games on the timeline that always say you can improve your intelligence and memory. Can you really get smarter? He did.
He did, man.
Maybe
He
I
followed
should read a
through.
book.
When he said that, I was like, you don't just decide to get smarter. He decided to get smart. He got smarter.
Yeah.
He went to
It's
Serbia,
amazing.
man. Let's take our break because we're a little bit behind our typical breaks. Harrison was very slow reading those notes
my
today.
God.
We did
Very
cut him
slow.
off after every third
Yeah,
word.
we might have done that as
Yeah.
well.
Sorry
But let's
for the
hit
conversation,
Let's hit
fellas.
our first break, and on the other side, we'll wrap up any final thoughts from practice as well as get into the new Michael Jordan Award.
Fellows,
Can't wait.
winter weather is really here, which means it's porter season, more specifically, Vanilla Porter Jr. season. Grab that Breckenridge Brewery Porter that is not really affiliated with Michael Porter Jr., but just call it a Vanilla Porter Jr. anyway.
We
It's,
have
It's a spiritual association.
We have Vanilla Porter Jr. peanut butter at the bar.
Oh yeah, they're making different variants now on the porter. It's really good. I love it, and this is the time of the year to drink those.
It's at the bar, man.
So drink them while you're watching Michael Porter Jr., who is making some progress in a potential return. But how do you find the Vanilla Porter Jr.? You go to breckbrew.com and look for the beer locator. You tell it where you are. You tell it which beer you want. It tells you where to go next. I'm a simple man. I like simple directions. That's why I use the Breckenridge Brewery beer locator. That's the official beer of DNVR. So just support them in general. It's one of the
Hell
best
yeah.
ways that you can support us. DraftKings, well, DraftKings runs year round, but the NBA doesn't, and they're stoked that the NBA is back. They've got deals for you. Because when you throw down on NBA action with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, and you're a new customer, you can bet just $5 pregame on any NBA team to win their game. You get $150 in free bets if they do. Plus, you know, by now everyone can combine multiple bets for a bigger payout with DraftKings same-game parlays. Also, Maryland sports fans, Maryland Nuggets fans, listen up. DraftKings Sportsbook. It's live in your state, so you can get in
Maryland
with
in the
Dev
house.
and us on those
All our
pregame
Maryland
shows.
fans.
Shouts to the Conley family.
Let's go. Maryland and Colorado, by the way,
They're all
might be the two. Maryland and Colorado might be the two most hang up our state flag states.
Oh,
No,
no
for sure.
question.
Texas right there, but
Texas
yeah.
and California, but those are the
California, no, they're second class, all flag.
Well,
You
he's
don't
not
see the
saying,
California.
He's not saying the quality.
I
of
get
the flag
that. I
is
get
just-
that. But I'm saying Californians aren't about their flag the way we are.
No, they're
Maryland might have it.
That's
They're
too,
not
though.
nearly
Maryland's
as
up
proud
there,
of
though. Maryland's
a
up there.
bear standing.
Anyway,
in the middle of a
listen. If you live in one of the places where DraftKings is available, including Maryland, download the app now to get in on Holiday Hoops action. Sign up with promo code DNVR. Place a $5 pregame moneyline bet on any NBA team to win and get $150 in free bets if they do. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code DNVR. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See the show notes for details.
And
All right.
also, if you don't know how to bet or what to bet, watch the pregame show. Dev hands out winners that make you feel bad inside.
Winner after
because
winner.
You win money because Dame Lillard goes off.
I hope he takes like Barton or Monte tomorrow. If he's like, take the under on those guys, we're going over.
Oh, he's
with
gonna-
Kyle
he will.
Kuzma.
He's
He's gonna be like, yeah, Kyle Kuzma.
Kyle Kuzma points, rebounds, assists.
He's like, hey, Jokic. I really
too.
like
Yeah.
Kristaps Porzingis.
Gosh dang it. Let's wrap up some notes here on practice.
The only other thing I got is you asked Nicole Jokic about Slava.
Hey, Slava!
Totally worth the drum roll.
It was worth the drum roll because you know what? Our Slava is coming up on Thursday. Our
I
first ever
can't wait,
Slava.
man.
We're gonna have a feast.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
Oh man, we're gonna finally have that feast de resistance.
Oh, feast
you
de
keep talking about.
Feast de resistance.
Yeah. I mean, Joker said his whole family's in town. You know,
Hell
they're
yeah.
going to have a lot of, great food, home cooked meals.
He said it was the second most important holiday he thinks of the year for Serbians behind Christmas.
Is that Orthodox Christmas?
Yes, which is January 7th or 9th or one of those
It's a
two.
big couple weeks for the Serbs.
But I actually, we're kind of making light of this. I honestly do think it is something that's kind of big for him. Like, you think about holidays you could take for granted, especially when you're in the, in your hometown, you see your family all the time. You almost take for granted the fact that, imagine him, an opportunity for his whole family to come together.
Yeah.
And it coincides with this moment in time when he's been out on the road, but now he gets to be home for a lot. You've got real Christmas. I mean, real. You have Western Christmas and Eastern Christmas. Sorry.
Nope, is that what you said?
That's what I said.
Oh, man.
Let me see. How do I say this? You have Julian calendar Christmas.
Okay.
And Western calendar
Wow.
Okay.
Christmas. I'm canceled in Serbia now. Damn it.
Western
You
centric
got both
pod.
Christmases coming up and Slava. I'm just saying, I honestly believe this. You always mention Jokic and seasonal, what is it? Seasonal
Affected depression.
affected depression. You armchair psychology him. I honestly think that, December 15th is our Slava, marks the beginning for him. But I think it's actually really it's all this, the holiday season.
Life is about little signposts that you go through. Like you're like, once your birthday hits, once Christmas, it's sort of like like you get into a new mindset, a new season, a new segment. I'm sure it does. He's like, oh, Slava's coming, and once you hit those, you sort of get into the next phase. And then
Right.
it's then we get into pre All-Star break, then we get into post All-Star break, and then we get into the Nuggets championship run.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Nice.
I think he'll be depressed for that, though, to be honest with you. I don't know. That's
Yeah.
where he comes down. I have to win a championship.
That is the seasonal dominant depression. Jokic just dominates his depression after that and just goes for it.
Ooh, I like it.
If the NBA Finals were in the summer, more in the summer than they are, Nuggets have a better chance to win, I think.
It's so true.
Yeah.
I feel
if they were in September or August.
I do think Joke, he doesn't seem to really love talking about these things. The way when we went to Serbia, everybody wanted to talk about these
He
things.
loves talking about?
Nothing.
Just horses?
Horses,
I
yeah.
don't even know if he loves talking about them.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
But honestly,
Michael Green.
because even today, you can see the video up on our YouTube page,
so
the interview. he didn't want to really talk about what date was his or this or that. Like you got to keep that stuff private for whatever reason. But I do think there is something to the like. It is the start of a holiday season that kind of. He just seemed like he was in a better mood.
Yeah.
He was in a good mood today. Yeah.
So, all right, guys. I don't
days
know
at
if you've been watching the news lately.
No.
Next.
But there is
Next
a brand new trophy. So a little mystery, actually. Nobody has caught on to this, including ourselves. Jokic has never presented the MVP trophy. We did talk about it opening night. Where's the MVP trophy? Why is there no ceremony?
Yeah.
What's going on here? Well, apparently Jokic has not yet received the MVP trophy.
He received the
75th,
glass
yeah.
ball in Serbia. That's still back in Serbia, but that's it.
So he won the MVP award in the 75th year. They also, and nobody knew this, apparently, or nobody on the outside knew this, but the NBA is making a new MVP trophy, which started apparently last year, but has not been created yet. It will be handed out shortly, I guess. So now, rather than just calling it the NBA MVP award, it's now the Michael Jordan MVP award. The Michael Jordan MVP award, and it has a brand new trophy size. But first, before we get to the trophy, it's cool because I feel like Jokic won the most important MVP ever.
The final chapter of
He won the last old MVP, but he also won the first new MVP.
You're right.
It's actually kind of cool, I think. The
Nikola
sneaky
Jokic,
actually dope.
The first Michael Jordan.
The first Michael Jordan. He also has a glass 75th commemorative one, which nobody else has. He has 3 MVP
He definitely
trophies,
doesn't know where that
actually.
is.
He has 3 MVP trophy. Well, technically 2, but as soon he'll be receiving it. I thought you guys would be more jazzed about that. I thought it's really cool.
Pretty cool.
I don't think it's cool at all.
I mean,
to
it's
be
like
honest.
so many like
You don't think you genuinely don't think it's cool that he's the first recipient of the Michael Jordan Award?
No.
Well, does the plaque look like the all-time box plus minus leaderboard? Is it just MJ?
I
Eric,
don't.
help me out.
I
here.
don't think
You're
it's
a man
cool.
of tradition.
The Michael Jordan MVP award just sounds corny to me, honestly.
It's 'cause
Let's
it's-
take the best player in the league and name the MVP trophy after
yeah.
him.
That doesn't that follow?
Oh, hold on. We'll get
Doesn't
to,
that,
that's
I mean,
gonna
doesn't
be
that
we're gonna
follow?
get to.
Don't you want the?
I don't get what was wrong with it before.
It was nameless. It was named after nothing. It was just called the MVP award.
I'm kind of with Wind on this
So?
one. What are these who are these changes for?
Well, it's because listen.
Why do we have to name our
hockey has
MVP
this.
trophies after people?
Hockey has this. It becomes the shorthand reminds you of the player forevermore.
Honor the past.
It's more than just honoring the past. It honors.
We
the
really
league,
needed
like,
to honor Michael Jordan again.
Why not? I mean, like, listen.
He doesn't get enough credit in the NBA world.
I mean, why not? Like, like we have the Larry O'Brien. We talk. Do you even know
That's
who
true.
Larry O'Brien is?
Yeah.
There's something cool about saying like I don't know that I
get
do, to be
Eric's
honest.
point.
Like,
I didn't know the Maurice Podoloff though. That
yes,
predates.
listen. It sounds dumb because it's brand new, but it'll just become shorthand and it'll fall into the parlance, and then you just talk about like
Who was
oh,
the
is he gonna win
first player
MJ?
to ever win MVP in the NBA?
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Like George Mikan?
I don't know.
Probably.
Maybe. I don't
I would
know.
have preferred it be called the George Mikan MVP
Oh,
award.
Why? That's like the ultimate versus.
Of
plumbers
course you
award.
would. All right.
This
It's
is
the
like
first
right?
one. It would have been better than naming it after Michael
Yeah,
Jordan.
that's
This
on-
is like
that's
this
on
is
brand.
like saying that he is the greatest of the MVPs. Anyway, I think it's cool.
You guys push back on it. I do think like a lot of these are dumb. The Bob Cousy, this or that. For some reason, Michael Jordan. I will say it's cool in this one way. I feel like Michael Jordan is having himself a good couple years.
Good for him.
Well, he needed them, you know.
No, I'm just saying that there has been this like LeBron MJ thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like the player who's better argument is whatever. But I do feel like there's this appreciation gap that somehow has grown
Totally.
between him and LeBron.
It was
over the last
definitely
little bit.
a conversation like 4 or 5 years ago. Ever
that
since
people
then,
wanted to have. I feel like people don't even want to have it because they're like, well, we like MJ.
Yeah, it's just switched back to where it's clearly Jordan now. I feel like.
Will there ever-
LeBron has played too long.
He played too
He
much.
should
Yeah.
be.
He also went to the Lakers. Like, come on,
He should be a myth by now, but he's a Laker.
He's still playing. He's like a not
Yeah,
great
you
Laker.
see him every day.
Every day.
Okay.
It also made me think. I wonder if we'll ever have a LeBron James award. They're already all named.
God,
Yeah, the Eastern Conference
Finals,
Finals
yeah,
award
yeah,
should
it's not-
absolutely
the
be
throwing your
LeBron.
players under the bus award.
All right, well, let's get into what's really interesting about this trophy, or maybe what's uninteresting about this trophy, and that is the design. Allie, pull it up here because you're thinking the Michael Jordan Award. What the hell is this?
This
looks-
is commemorating a Nikola Jokic tip pass to the corner.
Nice.
nice.
It does. Yeah, it like doesn't quite look like Michael
Like
Jordan.
what?
It does look more like Jokic than Jordan.
I know. Is
Well,
this
it's too slender to be Jokic. What it looks like, I mean, it looks like they just started with the idea of an Oscar. And
yeah.
whittled it back.
Did you hear the explanation, Eric?
Yeah, I actually put it on a slide. Like, there's a bunch of
Oh,
like
cool.
a lot of the design is based on various things. Like it's a 25 or 23.
Keep this up there for a minute, Al. I like
Point
this.
faceted crystal ball for number 23 Jordan. It's at 15-degree angled base to nod to his 15 season career,
me a
5-sided
break.
base.
That's the
five-
lights on
me a
layer.
five
right?
league.
That's the
Well, I mean,
lights
like,
on layer.
No,
I mean, this stuff is this is actually like clearly like they did this intentionally.
Well, of course, yeah.
But
well,
it,
of course
you know,
they
like-
did it intentionally, but
Well, I
one's
mean,
a
but
bit
it's
much.
not. It's not. They're not like just making it up after the fact, like sometimes you do with brands. But like, I mean, it's whatever. I think it's like this award feels like substantive. It'll look cool.
It already
put up
looked
over your
cool.
head.
The MVP
Yeah.
trophy already looked cool.
I actually don't disagree with that at all. I did like the former one probably better than this. This one is like a little like delicate as in comparison, but listen, I'm for this. I like it. I think it's going to get cooler and cooler as time goes on. I understand the pushback because it's like the NBA is in such a position where they have so many things that they present to you all the time: new uniforms, new this, new that, and it's like. More often than not, it just feels like a lot of like marketing noise when it comes to the NBA. But I do think that this is something that is putting a stake in the ground to sort of honor the history of the league in a more honorable way than a lot of the things they typically try it. Like this, this is a classic. They didn't try to make it like cool. Like the NBA typically does. Like this is like
success.
yeah, but you know what
Mission
I mean? Like,
accomplished.
this is more of like a classic kind of like feeling award. It's not like a cool one would have been like him in the dunking the ball, doing his like Jumpman pose. Like
So
that would have been like more like
Trademarked.
a more trademark marketable thing. But like
There's a ground up nature to the storytelling too of it as well, which is like if you look at the image, it's a bit more rough and incomplete at the bottom, and it's supposed to look like a more like an athlete, a more highly refined athlete. Literally, the higher up you go vertically
Why, though?
on the award. I don't know.
It's to me, it almost looks like that drawing of the horse.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's such a great take. That is what it is.
they started at the top and they're like, it's taking too long.
Just didn't
We're supposed to
finish
get it to on opening night. It's December. Just just go. Just hit print.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not that into it, Eric. I'm glad that you're into it.
I like
'cause-
it.
All right, I'm glad you're into it. I hope we'll see it when they get it raised. I am not certain that we're actually going to see
They're
that.
not. We're not going to. They're not presenting it to
We
them.
might never, and I mean this sincerely, we might never see Jokic with that trophy.
Right.
I think it'll be delivered to him stealthily.
Yeah.
And he'll never take a photo of it. So
we'll get some like image of it like accidentally in the background.
At his third MVP ceremony in Sombor, it will just be like on a table in the
Yeah,
background.
totally.
they've also decided to name all of the trophies here. So you hate this,
goody.
but here it is. Instead
Here
of the
we go.
Defensive Player of the Year award, it's going to be the Akeem Olajuwon Trophy for Defensive Player of the Year award.
Interesting.
How do you think we'll refer to that? Because this is, as we've
The
mentioned
Hakeem.
many times, the Hakeem.
The Hakeem.
He won 4 Hakeems,
Or for Elijah ones.
4 Elijah ones.
Yeah, I mean, right? Like we
That's
call it
what
the
you
Larry.
do.
We call it the Larry Ob. I don't know. We call it like the
He won 6 rings.
like you're gonna win the
is what they really-
MJ. You'll win the. I think Hakeem is probably.
Was it the
Hockey
Conn
does
Smith?
this, right? Yeah, Conn Smythe
Conn
Award.
Conn
Smythe.
Smythe,
Yeah.
Hobie
Excuse
Baker,
me.
all of them.
Yeah.
In fact, when Joe
can't
Sakic was
name
at
them,
his
though. We
height,
always
was at his zenith, he won the Lady Bing Award,
Ah.
which is the player that exhibits the most sportsmanship.
Oh, Lady Bing.
Okay.
We also have the Wilt Chamberlain Trophy for Rookie of the Year, which I found kind of funny. I don't equate Wilt Chamberlain with rookie.
I know.
You know what? I mean,
I guess he probably
Of
just
all the
came-
things you associate Wilt with, that's an
Yeah, who
the
interesting.
would
scoring title, I would have given him the scoring
You know,
title.
I would have
Yeah.
given it. I would have called it the Derrick Rose.
Best
honestly.
game in the league.
Derrick
off
Rose.
the
Truly,
court.
like he had one of the best rookie seasons of all time. He was the MVP.
It doesn't
and
go
the
back
rookie.
far enough for that, though. Magic Johnson
Maybe
started,
so.
played all 5 positions
That's
of
a
the
great
finals.
point. Yeah.
Either way, whatever.
Yeah.
The John Havlicek Trophy for
Had to
Sixth
get
Man of
him
the
in
Year.
there.
I know, yeah. We always have to get one Celtic. You notice this? Like the Celtics
Yeah, I've
have-
noticed it.
It's so annoying. It really is. Like,
They're gonna name an award after Tatum while he's still playing. So buckle up.
so true. That'd be such a forced stat, too. Most games with 20 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 62% shooting.
The award
from
for the
line.
the award for the player that leads the league in 2 points with the worst 2-point field goal percentage.
Hell yeah.
So the Sixth Man of the Year, I don't think we'll ever call that to Havlicek, honestly. I think we're going to call this, he won a Rookie of the Year award, he won a Sixth Man.
I think you're right, but I think they'll be like
He won a
They're
DNVR.
gonna
they'll
push
they'll
that,
be like,
though.
oh, he won the Sixth Man of the Year. He's going to be presented with the Havlicek.
Somebody's going to ask Paolo Banchero, how it feel to win the Chamberlain this year? He's going to be like,
what?
What?
Yeah, I have no idea.
I'm telling you, this stuff will flip over. I mean, like all of the hockey stuff seems like ridiculous, but that is the only way it's referred to
Right,
in the NHL.
right. I believe that.
I feel like that suits hockey, though.
It does suit hockey. That's the thing, is it does seem to suit hockey a little bit more. The George Mikan trophy for most improved player, which is hilarious. Again, like George Mikan, which, if you want to know, one of the few things I know about George Mikan is that once they expanded the paint, he was no longer good. He became the least improved player. That's the game change, so it seems like a weird one. And now here's the actual most interesting one. They're adding a new trophy, and I don't know how we're going to decide this, but it is the Jerry West Award for the most clutch player.
Wow.
And I have to tell you, the only reason I like this is because I hate the MVP conversation. It's just so annoying. This is going to be way more annoying. It's going to
Because there's really just no way to define
there's
it.
no way to define who's the most clutch player. I mean, we'll look statistically, and it's always going to end up being like
They're going to give it to Dame
Christian Wood.
every year.
You know, somehow has the most percentage. It's going to be some random player. Malcolm Brogdon.
Damian Lillard's
actually-
going to win it every year, actually, is what's going to happen.
He probably will.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I mean, if you
He's
look
pretty
back,
clutch.
yeah, right. If you look back and you're like, oh
He
yeah,
is very
Dame
clutch.
won a bunch of clutch player awards, you'd be like, yeah. that
The
makes
year
sense.
Jokic had 6 game winners in one season, no chance he would have won the most
No
clutch
chance.
player award here. This
No
is what I'm
chance.
saying.
Yeah,
where
yeah,
he was like
exactly.
70% from the field in the
Hit
clutch.
6-game winners.
Yeah, 6 games winners. They'd be like, well, he wasn't as good as,
Embiid just looked more dominant.
Yeah, Embiid looked dominant, though. If you looked at it, man.
They need to have the Joel Embiid sexiest player of the award of the year.
Sexiest?
Best player to not win
The
MVP.
the sexiest player.
Sexiest player?
I think the most clutch player, most clutch trophy is actually pretty dope. Right now, you probably would have Lillard there.
Is the
but
media just voting on this like they do all awards?
I don't know. I actually don't know that. I would guess yes. I would guess that would be it. But you know what? Right now, Jamal has a game winner, so he's
got one.
in the conversation.
Got one.
Is he in the conversation?
He's in the conversation.
I think he's in the
For the
conversation.
Jerry West.
For the West?
I got another question for you. I know we're long here. We'll go really quickly here, but it makes me think the reason the NBA is doing this is because they want to honor their history. The NBA is all about like we want everyone to know that we go back and we have this history, and I think it's a noble attempt, even if I think that they tell the same stories over and over again and miss out on lots of great stories that are untold. Well, whatever. I do think the Nuggets could do this, and we laugh, but I wouldn't mind the Nuggets having a Mr. Nugget award.
That'd be awesome.
Of course.
It might be, if we could add that somehow, the coolest legacy of DNVR is that they actually made a Mr. Nugget award.
Dude.
The Nuggets award.
Oh, we have the Nuggets awards graphic. This is a surprise to me. Look at who is that?
want
Oh,
that
that's a
so
yoke.
bad.
Look at that.
That's
Look
incredible.
at that.
It's crazy how much that actually kind of looks like the current
That's
trophy.
incredible.
It does kind of look like it. You're right.
I'm so glad Yoke won
My
this.
God, that's great work.
The
Eric.
Sombor
Thanks,
Shuffle.
guys.
Good job, Eric.
What, is there a designer over here?
He should
Thanks,
be. He
guys.
should be. If there was a Mr. Nugget award, who would it be named after?
Gary Harris.
Yeah,
There's only 2 Mr. Nuggets so far. It's Gary Harris and Monte Morris.
That's Gary's legacy.
Yeah.
I feel like it should be the Nikola Jokic Mr. Nugget award because he can't ever win it, but he really is at the end of the day.
Should we retroactively go back and say who would have been
could be.
the Mr.
Yeah, it
Nugget
could be.
from like
Jameer Nelson.
1995?
Okay, yeah.
Oh my, who's ultimate Mr. Nugget?
Yeah, going way back.
Who is the
Kenneth Faried.
absolute
Bill
Mr. Nugget?
Hanslick.
Yeah, dude, it's probably like
All right, we'll find a different idea.
Calvin Nat, maybe. I don't know.
Robert Pack.
I think it would be the Gary. I could see that. I mean,
The Gary?
the
Yeah,
Gary
the
Harris
Harris.
Award.
The
I think
G.
so. The Gary Harris
yeah,
Award.
it's G, the award.
I think there should be a Nikola Jokic Award for the MVP of the season. I would think it would be cool if it was. Again, maybe it creates division some years, but most years
Well,
it's
he'd
like,
be
hey,
winning it every year.
well, of course, but I think that's kind of cool. Here's my point. When we talk about greatest Nuggets ever, you'll go like, oh, Alex English or Dan Isler, this or that. But I'm curious how many of those years, it might have been all for Alex English. Would he have been would he have won the Jokic Award every
No,
single
because
year?
he would have been like the best player. He would have been.
Right.
Oh, you're saying the Jokic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. But
Yeah.
it's kind of something cool to be like, no, he was definitively the best player.
It would be
on the
really
team.
cool to have that history. Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
just to be able to say how many Jokic awards does Jokic need to be the all-time
be
leader in Jokic awards?
Yeah. That'd be really cool.
And then the last one we had here was a Defensive Player of the Year award. I don't know who we would name this after.
For the Nuggets?
Yeah.
That's tough.
Well, I
Not
said,
a lot
I
of
said
candidates.
I said Marcus Camby, and Adam recoiled.
I just think it's the worst defensive player. I just
But he won Defensive Player of the Year.
the Nuggets were 2 points better with him off the court defensively.
I
It's
know,
just
but
the weirdest
he
year.
literally
man.
won Defensive Player of the Year.
I know.
Matumbo.
Maybe
you
Mutombo.
claim-
Oh,
Yeah,
Mutombo
probably
would be
Mutombo.
way cooler.
Yeah.
It'd be way cooler if it was
Of course,
Mutombo.
Mutombo.
And
Of
actually,
course.
if we're being serious, would probably be Bobby Jones. But we're going back too far.
Paul
No, it's
Millsap.
definitely Mutombo. It's the Mutombo.
Mutombo.
If you had a sixth
Yeah.
man of the year, would it be the J.R. Smith,
Probably. Or
the Kenneth Faried?
yeah, I guess.
You'd have to
J.R.
go back
Smith?
even further.
Oh man, would
I
it be
know.
J.R.
The
Smith?
J.R. Smith Award would be so hilarious, man. But it would feel fitting if Bones won the J.R.
George
Smith
would
Award.
love
Oh
that.
my
Yeah.
God.
George Carl presents it to him.
George Carl every year has to hand out the J.R.
Here,
Smith
take
Award.
it. Take it.
Take it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was a fun idea. Mr. Nugget, though. That's the one of all of them. I think it'd be cool if there was a Mr. Nugget
There
award.
should be a Mr. Nugget, man.
Let's
That's
go to
right. We
The
got to turn it
initial
into a
Gary
ceremony. We'll do it
Harris
ourselves.
Mr. Nugget Award.
Yeah, we'll do
Yeah.
it ourselves. All right, we'll take a break. On the other side, we're going to wrap up today's show by talking about the best players of the Jokic Era. How could you build the best roster? And the reason is, there's a very specific reason I want to talk about that. I'll get into it on the other side.
You can also just build your own bowl or burrito or whatever it is you get at a Legal Pete's. We're hyped to be teaming back up with the local legends here at DNVR. Legal Pete's is always our go-to spot for burritos, buddies, and beers. We did that quite recently. It was lit. The holiday season is more enjoyable with a piping hot cup of queso, and nothing warms you up quite like a margarita. That's why Pete's is hooking you up with a little something extra this year. Spend $100 on gift cards and score an extra $25 for free. We're wishing you a happy holidays from Illegal Pete's, where good friends gather. So get your good friends some good gifts, some gift cards from Illegal Pete's. Spend $100, score an extra $25 for free.
Dude, if anybody gives me a gift that is not queso based this year, I'm gonna lose my goddamn mind.
2 gifts, my list: holiday beef train and queso.
Beef and queso,
baby.
dude. If you give me something that's not queso based, give me the receipt along with it.
It's holiday season, of course, and if there's a golfer in your life, get pins and aces in your holiday shopping. I almost had it.
Yeah, that was not great.
Arsenal. Pins and Aces is the official golf apparel partner of DNVR. We love all of our Pins and Aces gear because those of us who golf and wear Pins and Aces get compliments on and off the court. I just get bullied by my boss and
Hell
good
yeah.
friend. Check out pinsandaces.com and use code DNVR to receive 15% off your first order and get free shipping. That's pinsandaces.com. Golf is fun. It's more fun when you're swagged out and when you've got innovative products that allow you to source 7 beers right inside your golf
Golf
bag.
is more fun when there's 7 beers in you.
Right. How do I like to golf? 7 beers deep
Hell
and
yeah,
looking
dude.
fly. Check out pinsandaces.com. Use code DNVR for 15% off. And we're not done hooking you guys up because, okay, holiday season means it's basketball season. And like we've talked about, the Nuggets are finally back home. So if you make a late call decision or even an early call decision to go see some Nuggets games, before you look at the market price, all those listings, make sure you check out Game Time. Hottest new ticketing site, makes it easier than
Time?
ever to score the best deals on
Game
tickets to
Time?
sports, concerts, and shows. There are a lot of options, a lot of places where you can buy, a lot of secondary ticket markets, but
Yeah, dude,
none
if
of
you're
them
an idiot or a loser.
None of them have the amazing deals and the amazing seats available that Game Time does. So if you love DNVR, then you'll love Game Time. And one of the best ways to support us is by buying your tickets to Nuggets games through the link in the description. Join over 15 million people who have downloaded the Game Time app and score the best seats to all of your favorite events.
Hell yeah.
I was trying to figure out who would be Mr. Nugget before Gary Harris.
Yeah,
Like pre-Gary Harris. I think I got it.
Who is it?
Darrell Arthur.
Oh yeah.
Was he was there for
That's
1 year
Darth?
before
Good
it?
answer.
He was there before it? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely him.
And he's still here.
Mr.
Yeah,
Darth?
that went into it.
Yeah, literally still here.
But he wouldn't have. I mean, you have to think about. He didn't know that when you would have.
Well,
I know, but
I
now
know that.
we know what we know now.
Yeah, there's
So,
a whole,
yeah.
I'm with Wind. There's a whole picture there.
Before that, I don't know. I'll leave it up to
we
the
have to
chat.
we have to hurry here because we don't have 10 minutes. But I do want to go into a quick aside here, which is, you know what I've really noticed? I've never. There was like 2 Pelicans writers I've known prior to this year. I feel like there's 100 now. You scroll the
Pelicans
timeline,
writers?
it's like all Pelicans writers and podcasters. I can't believe it. It shows you how much a thing blows up, and all of a sudden it's like Pelicans fans everywhere.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
They're a sexy
baby.
team.
That's how it
They're
works.
sexy.
Just waiting on you, Nuggets.
Pelicans fans not very fond of PHNX this last
No,
weekend.
they are
That
not.
was
what?
an
I
interesting
might be with
2-game
Pelicans
set.
fans on that one.
they kind of took it to him. All right, guys. I was sitting here thinking about the perfect Jokic players to come through Denver so far. Like, how do you build the best roster? Who are the best players? And as I was thinking this, I was realizing there was a disproportionate amount of players that are currently on the roster that I would have on the list.
Yeah.
And I think that tells you something about where we are with the Nuggets and kind of what we've learned. But I wanted to go through and just do a quick exercise here where we made the best starting lineup, best second lineup. If we were building a team, how would you make it based on best players? Now, I'm going to give you two gimmies here, guys, just because I don't want to have to spend time on it. Jokic and Murray are on this list.
Yeah, I think we can agree.
So we can just start with Jamal
Fine.
Murray as the starting point guard. Jokic as the starting center. In your opinion, and I'll start.
You're saying Jokic is one of the best Jokic guys?
It's not about Jokic, guys. It's just best team. You're making the best team, but of course, Jokic is that guy. Best shooting guard of the Jokic era, and you can pick a year. You can say a year, or this or that.
I think it's got to be peak Gary Harris.
Really,
I think so.
over KCP.
I think so. I mean, look, KCP is off to a tremendous start,
Yeah,
but this is the best, I think, starting lineup in terms of other talent around them, right? Like, KCP's in a perfect situation to just feast. B, he's also here to help the defense. Defense is sliding backwards. So I look at peak Gary's ability. I look at the fact that peak Gary came in and saved what is now a famous playoff series in Nuggets history.
oh boy.
I think it's got to be Gary. I know he tapered off, but I think there was a larger body of work.
I mean, if you could go Gary Harris 2017, 2018.
That's what I'm talking about.
17.5 points per game, 40% from three.
He was finishing at the
Or
rim
even the
better
year
than
before when
KCP.
he was at 42% from
He was
three.
cutting off ball. He was the lockdown perimeter defender. He was making
Can we take
pocket
any year
passes.
from KCP's career?
No,
No, it has
you're
to be
Denver.
with
In
Jokic,
Denver, yeah.
with Jokic.
Yeah.
No, it has to be in Denver. I mean, yeah.
I might go Gary.
So we have 2 votes for Gary. I'm surprised by this a little bit. I'll tell you
What about-
one thing
what about
while you're
Pete
thinking
Will
about
Barton?
this. You would take Will Barton?
Peak Will Barton? I don't know. I'm asking the question.
Oh, man,
No,
not
he's-
me. You need
no.
the defense, man. The one thing I'll say, KCP is meaningfully larger, longer than Gary.
That's a real thing. That same playoff run where he saved it against Utah, he also couldn't close against the Lakers because there was no matchup. But I mean, we've seen KCP for a third of
The
a
matchup
season.
where KCP murdered the Nuggets.
That's a great point. But he wasn't on the Nuggets, was he?
Right.
I don't know, man. He would have to be better so far defensively for me, KCP this season.
I think he might be though. But where do you go? So you're gonna go Gary then? If you were thinking Gary or Barton.
Yeah, it's probably Gary. I mean,
Wow.
Gary was the guy, man.
Think about just Gary Harris in that dribble handoff with Nikola Jokic. Like
hard to
Gary
believe.
Harris cutting backdoor off Nikola Jokic.
So much. Yeah, he would always cut to the
That
rim.
chemistry was just, incredible.
Yeah, I tend to agree.
You 3 went Gary. I'm still going KCP. I just think his defense is more solid, and I think he's bigger. Like he's just more versatile as
I
a
just need to
defensive
see
player.
more of it, you
He's
know,
also
like-
shooting 46.5% from three
Pretty
this
good.
year,
It's
guys,
pretty-
which
it's pretty
is like
good.
insane.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
And as much as Gary was great in a dynamic role, that year, I do wonder if Denver needs that. I wonder if there's diminishing return once you get this new version of Murray and Jokic, where it's like, do you really need to have a lot of Gary Harris driving to the basket? Maybe, maybe not. I do think it's close.
But his defense, let's not forget that Gary Harris's defense won a playoff series, swung a playoff
It did. Oh, of
series
course it did.
Yeah.
for the Denver Nuggets.
Of course it did. Small forward. This is the toughest one, in my opinion.
I think I know what it is.
Oh
but-
boy.
Can I put AG here, or does it have to be 4?
I mean, AG at the 3 is not nearly as good as AG at the 4, though.
I know. I'm just trying to build. I just want the 5 guys that I want.
I know.
Oh my god.
Man,
I mean, is it Jeremy Grant?
could be.
I would take Jeremy Grant.
He
I
wasn't very good.
actually had him 3rd, though.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I had him 3rd.
Okay.
'Cause I'm with
Yeah,
Eric.
he did not have a great year with the Nuggets.
The numbers weren't great with him there. I mean, there were some
Started off
circumstantial.
with
He got
like-
really good later.
we're like, the long boys, and then it was like the long boy, and then he was good-ish in the playoffs. He had that one amazing series against the Lakers, right? But
Yeah.
even before that, like there was a lot of like, man, why is this the least athletic athletic guy I've ever seen in my entire life. We talked about that all the time.
I think if we're gonna go 3, then with the chat, I'm gonna say Michael Porter Jr.
It's definitely Jeremy Grant over Michael Porter for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeremy Grant was not very good that year, in my opinion. Like that playoff run, I think is one of the more
He was
wildly.
playing with a terrible bench also the whole year.
That's true.
I feel like I'm
That's a
the
great
wild
point.
card here. I thought you guys would go where I went. I think Michael Porter, first of all. But there is another answer here that I think is really, really close, and that's Danilo Gallinari, man. In 2017,
Gallo's close.
He
Yep.
was really, really good next to Jokic. He shot the 3 incredibly well. He got to the foul line. He's more of a solid defensive player just in terms of he knows what to do and, this or that.
The other thing is he didn't like playing.
I was
with
gonna
you.
say, wasn't there
but they were
tension there?
incredible, though. There was
Yeah.
only tension in that. Like, again, there's always tension
You know
when
what?
you're
I'm
the...
taking Gallo. I am taking Gallo.
He was so good as a 3, and I just think that again,
love Gallo.
I hope Michael Porter proves us all wrong in this one way, but we're all nervous about what your upside is defensively with him there at the 3 spot next to Jokic. And I think Gallo was less of an issue.
I think that's
So
a good pick, man.
He
And
was really good
before the injuries.
it was after one injury, but he was really, really good in that time in Denver. If you recall, in that era, they were like they are now offensively. They were
He was our
unguardable.
leading scorer every year. Gallo was amazing.
He was.
Gallo is actually one of the all-time injuries. The tier he's in because of injuries, he's ultimately a forgettable player. He's going to be a guy you tell another generation about, this guy was better than you think. You know what I mean?
He wasn't super sexy though. That's why those
Yeah.
stories.
Except
get-
for that he's actually
really
very
sexy.
Like
He's
the
actually
hottest
as a
player in
human
the
being,
league,
he's
according
extremely
to many
sexy.
females out there.
Power forward. I think this one's easy. Honestly,
It's AG,
It's
right?
AG.
Aaron
man.
Gordon.
And
Yeah. The
Millsap
only
was
other-
great. Millsap was
Yeah.
great. But come on,
Fareed,
man.
it was another at least
Fareed was
conversation
great.
piece.
I would
Nah,
go with
that's
AG
not
too.
a
Can I make the
conversation, I
case
think.
for Paul Millsap?
Sure.
When was there ever a competent defense in Denver?
Yeah, only with him. I know, but
They were also barely the 10th best. They're
I mean, that's a big step up from 27.
absolutely.
you
Absolutely.
know? But
absolutely.
I love Aaron Gordon. I think it's the right pick. I just wanted to get.
I think Aaron
Paul.
Gordon cemented it this season with this start. I mean,
Definitely.
maybe it was a debate last year, but Aaron Gordon, he's just leveled up completely this year. He's playing like an all-star.
then you of course have Jokic. So we went with Murray, Gary, Gallo, Gordon, Jokic, which leaves the second unit. Second point guard. Would
We
you
went
say
Gallo at 3? Okay.
Gallo and PJ was kind of a tie there, but whatever.
You
So
guys really don't think Jeremy Grant, if you're trying to win a championship?
now, yes, but I'm saying at that time, you have to remember he was not this player for Oklahoma City. He came to Denver and was not that player. Then he went to Detroit and became that player. So I'm just saying you can't think of what he is right now in terms of what he was to Denver.
I'm thinking of what he was in that Lakers series when he finally got the chance to start
I mean,
at
that
the
was
3.
It might have been. I mean, maybe this is a thing we'll just have to never know. Who's the backup point guard? Monte, Bones, or other?
Jameer Nelson.
I think that's crazy. He was so
Monte.
old at that time. I think it's Monte.
Probably Monte.
Jameer was good, but
Yeah, probably Monte.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
then you
Maybe
have
Nate
Moutier,
Robinson?
PJ Dozier, and Nate Robinson. So we go. Then we had KCP would then be the backup unless somebody thinks Barton over KCP, which I just don't see. Again, I think the defense is just too important. I love Barton. I don't think it's Bruce either. If you were trying to get more of a defensive guy, I just don't see
I
it.
think it is KCP. I just want to the defense. The defense is not good. The perimeter defense is not good.
I don't think it's his fault though. I
Well,
don't. Think
I mean,
he's
how much
Is
of
it
an
Austin
impact is he
Rivers?
making though?
What's
if it's
that?
getting
Is it
worse?
Austin Rivers?
Is it Austin Rivers? Maybe it
Okay,
is.
we've got Austin Rivers.
Somebody
games.
called
We've
him
not
the
have a
10th best
KCP game.
defender of the Jokic era.
You have MPJ or Gallo, whichever one we didn't go with. I think the power forward, it's clearly Millsap, but you do have Fareed right there that's behind him as a very nice third option.
Yeah.
There. Fareed played no
Fareed-
defense, but he was fun. The offense is never better than the Jokic Fareed offense, man. Those guys killed you.
He would get 19 rebounds a game sometimes.
Now, yeah. Oh, he was, and he also just Jokic had some of his best passes were to Fareed.
Yeah.
Now here's where it's really fun. Backup center. I'll give you 3 options.
Oh my God.
It's Mason Plumlee.
DeMarcus Cousins,
Mason
Okay.
Plumlee.
Don't
Mason
say-
Plumlee,
Oh, God.
Okay.
Yusef Nurkic.
Oh, God. Mason Plumlee.
Mason Plumlee.
This is insane. You
I-
guys are all come on, man.
I think I might
How did
take
it go when
Cousins.
Nurkic was the backup 5 in the Jokic era?
He
I'm
didn't
saying it's
wanna
DeMarcus
play.
Cousins.
I was gonna say, it might be-
Cousins
it might be
wrecked
guilty for me.
as a backup center.
and then got cut and isn't playing for a team. I don't know.
I
man.
get that. I'm just saying if we're going off of who was past, DeMarcus Cousins was so good.
I'll take Mason Plumlee.
Mason Plumlee would be
He's a
my
good
next
backup
one. He was
center.
better. I'll put him ahead of Nurkic. Nurkic was not a happy
I'm surprised
camper.
you try and crowbar Hartenstein in here at?
Come on. These are actually, if you actually think about the three centers, these guys are all pretty good.
Yeah.
Boogie,
Starters,
Nurkic,
three
Plumlee, all
starters,
good backup
starting
centers.
level. Yeah.
Good caliber players. Anyway,
It's not Nurk. I'm sorry, Chad. It's absolutely not Nurk.
I mean, it could be Nurk in a vacuum or whatever.
He
but
was a backup center
Cornely.
here
And he hated
and
it.
left
He
the
left the
arena.
arena.
naked.
Cornely, and he loved-
in
traded-
actual practicality, Nurkic would never come
They
back.
did
and be a
Nurkic
backup.
as the backup 5 in the Jokic era.
How literal do you want to take this experiment? You're right.
That's
you're
enough
right.
for
If
me.
you're just
That's
doing the
enough for
talent,
me.
you're right.
That's enough for me.
Nonetheless, when we went through this exercise, Jamal Murray on the roster, KCP either first or second. It sounded like most of you guys had him second, but still on the roster. MPJ, he had as a backup, but still on the roster. Aaron Gordon, starter on the roster. So a lot. I just say all that to say that there are a lot of the best Nuggets of this era are currently on the roster, and I think that's meaningful.
Yeah. It's a loaded team.
And I think the small forward position being MPJ, Gallo, Jeremy, none of which we were all like unanimous on, tells me that maybe we haven't quite figured out who the small forward best option is just yet. I hope it's MPJ, by the way.
Oh,
I
yeah,
hope it
of
is.
course.
We just never get to
if
see
he
it
had just
in a row.
played enough, he would be the answer.
He would be it.
But
Hopefully we just
that's
see it.
reasonable.
We just see a little bit.
It's cool though that like
Hit that outro music, Ali.
it is cool that the longer you have a player like Nikola Jokic, and then you're able to very clearly build around him. Like there can be real intentionality with the players that you're looking to put around the unique skill set that is Nikola Jokic, and the front office obviously full of very smart people. Calvin Booth currently is able to sort of like see that and fill those spaces. The fact that almost all of the best players are currently on the team says a lot.
Yeah, says an awful
Absolutely.
lot. Anybody that's on the roster now that you think will break into this conversation in the future? Maybe a Christian Brown
Yeah, Christian
as
Brown
like a
maybe.
second or third.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Christian
could see-
Brown.
Look, let's put it this way. Is there a world where Christian Brown is in the conversation for either the 2 or the 3? Maybe not as the number 1 guy, but like he might be a better defender than KCP and Gary Harris. He's
Sure.
a rookie.
He definitely could be in
I
the
think he
conversation one
is
day.
Most assuredly a better defender. Will be, if not already, but he won't be able to keep up with them offensively.
I mean, he's a rookie. Gary Harris was brought in. He averaged 2 points a game. His
He's a
rookie
great
season.
Who did we have second team, Bones or Monte?
Monte.
Then I would say Bones
Yeah,
is
Bones-
the most likely.
Bones could be that
Bones
for
is the
sure.
most likely.
Bones is the answer, yeah.
Yeah, and then Peyton Watson we know almost nothing about, but you know what? Who knows? Maybe he becomes this really dynamic defensive
Couple
player
nice
that we're like
drives
best.
in Grand Rapids last
So there,
night.
there you go. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging with us. Guess what? Tomorrow's a game day.
Game
Oh,
day.
yeah.
We made it through
I
this.
Game
forgot
time.
about those, man.
Game day.
Felt like off season the last couple
Dude,
5 days.
I'm in sweatpants. I don't even care anymore.
Sweatpants.
I've given up.
But tomorrow the Nuggets play host to Washington, and I'm telling you, I got a good feeling about it. I'll be crushed if they don't murder them. But I think tomorrow night we're going to see a Nuggets team that gives us confidence about like,
Let's
oh,
hope.
that's right, they're a good team. They're a really good team.
I would love that.
We're
I would
already
love
back,
that.
baby.
And then and then after that, we're gonna be so back. Hit that like button on the way out. We'll see you later.
A little healthy.